product photography. It's pretty fun. Hey, what's going on guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to have a look at something a bit different. And if now isn't the time to try something different, I don't know what is. So if you guys have been following me over my Instagram account, you'll notice that since this whole thing kicked off, being stuck indoors, clients cancelling left, right and centre, I've been focusing a lot more on practicing some product photography. I think it's important for me especially, and I can't speak for everyone, but to just kind of practice and learn and play with these kind of things. And a lot of these skills for product photography can be scaled up to portraiture, they can be scaled up to photograph cars, anything like that. So I wanted to show you creators and makers out there that you don't need huge, big, fancy lighting setups. All you need is a camera, could be your phone, and a window. That's all you need. So what I'm going to do is run through a kind of behind the scenes of a product shoot using only one light source, which is this window, and a couple of bits of card and paper lying about, obviously a camera as well, and a product. Now this little product here is the Samsung SSD hard drive. I use this all the time on my laptop, so I can transfer files from my laptop to my PC for video editing and things. I think it's really super simple product, and I think I should be able to get some really nice shots with this. Only because we're stuck indoors, got limited amount of space. What better to shoot than household items, you know? So, drink my coffee first. Okay, so I've got my camera set up in the background here. I'm using the A6500 with the 85mm lens. You want something nice and telephoto so you can get the nice details. I'm using this table right next to the window. It's good to get a good spot as close to the window as you can. The more light coming in, the better. For this little black hard drive, I thought it'd be pretty cool. When you look on the website, it's all like black backgrounds and things. So I'm going to use black card and a bit of black foam core as a background. See how it looks? Like that. And what I've also got, I'll show you here, is I've got my camera purely for ease of you guys seeing it. I've got my camera tethered to my laptop. The only reason I'm tethering the camera to the laptop is basically so you can see a bit better what's going on, because I've not quite figured out how to attach this camera to that, you know. So I'm just going to play around with it and see how I get on. But first of all, I've got to turn off all these lights that are in the office. Okay, so that's all lights off. The only light that's coming in is from this window. The little hard drive is placed in the middle there, and I'm going to take a photo, see how it looks. Got to start somewhere. Yeah, and straight off the bat here, you notice we've got this really harsh line straight across, which isn't too pleasing, but we can fix that. To get rid of that harsh line across the back is put another black bit of paper like up and just clipped it to the side here, just so you get that kind of infinity wall look. You can see on the laptop here, there's no seams. There's a couple of marks on it, but I can get rid of those afterwards. So what I'm going to do is place my hard drive dead center in the middle and take a shot. Okay, so you can see here I've got this really sharp highlight in the corner here. Looks a bit dull, but the background is nice and smooth, nice gradients in there. What I'm going to do is just going to play around with the angle of the hard drive just to see if I can get a little bit better lighting, seeing if I can disperse this highlight a little bit. So you can see with that little movement, I've moved the highlight, concentrated in that one corner, and it's kind of spread right across the top, kind of fading out towards the right hand side, which is super cool. I like it. So I'm going to leave that as it is. I really like the angle of it and the way that highlight's coming across. But you can see on this side of the drive, it's still pretty dark. I want to try and get some light on this side. And how you do that is bounce the light from the window onto something and back out. And the easiest way to do that is get another bit of this black card, but it's white on the other side, which is handy. Don't know if you can see in this video here that when I move this in front of it, you get that really nice highlight. It bounces back. So this is before, and this is after. It's highlighted a bit, so I'm going to take a shot now. Nice. Now you can see I've got that really nice faded gradient highlight on the other side. Right, so I'm going to leave that as it is as well. But what I want to do is bring out this front face a little bit. Maybe see if I can add a bit of more dynamic to it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to still using the window, try and bounce some light off the table and back up onto the drive. So I'm going to take a bit of white paper, just regular printer paper. You can see already just by placing that there. I'm going to take a shot actually. that you get that nice gradient in the front of it. That's pretty cool. Kind of looks a little bit more professional. I'm going to play around with it a little bit more, just see if I can get that angle looking right. Okay, so now I'm bouncing the light from the table up onto this, and the angle I've got the paper at, it's bringing a nice gradient from that really highlighted corner down to the kind of dark corner of the drive there. There we go. Like it a lot. I'm quite happy with that shot actually. Okay, so I've had a play with the lighting. This is the final setup. Got a little bit of paper here to bounce up onto this face. I've got this board here bouncing light back onto this edge, and I've got the window casting that nice highlight straight across the top. And I've got the nice infinity wall background. So I'm happy with that. But because I know a lot of you don't have cameras, lenses, whatever, I'm going to take my phone, I'm going to open up the camera, I'm going to snap a couple of shots with this using the exact same lighting setup. A bit closer. Okay, so changing it up a little bit here, I have an old roll of lining paper draped across the table, no bounce at all. The product is purely getting lit by the paper in the window. This time I'm going to basically do the opposite of what I did with the black background, and I'm going to basically add in shadows on this right side. Because it's all quite blown out, it's all quite white, all quite flat, I'm going to add a little bit more dynamic to it. Basically taking the other side of that white card, the black side, and just cutting out some of the light on this side here. So I'm going to try and take a blank sheet of paper and see if I can get the same kind of results as before, maybe the inverse of what we were looking at. Just adds a little bit more dynamic to it. We'll take another shot. Yeah, so there you go. Just by changing the background and inverting all the things that we did, we've completely changed the look of the shot, which is really cool. Yeah, so this stuff's just about playing with light and what you can get and kind of highlighting different bits, different textures. So what you could do is, instead of a white or black background, you could get like an old chopping board, add that in to give a kind of grain effect. It's really cool to play with textures that way. What I'm going to do is I'm going to edit these photos, show you what I came up with, and yeah, proof that you only need one window and a bunch of stationery. Okay, so I've just finished the edits and this is what I came up with. Now that shot was put together using the photos from the camera. I also did one from the phone. Remember we took the phone photo? So they're pretty similar. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run through the steps I did on Photoshop. I won't do a whole tutorial on them because that would take ages. But yeah, computer's right here. Let's jump straight into it. Okay, so this is the first image straight out of the camera. And as you can see straight away, we've got this big white bit of paper here and this little gap down here. So I went in and used the content aware fill tool that Photoshop has, which I think is magic. And it basically scans the whole image and replaces what it thinks should be there. So I used that and already that's 100% better. I then went over the whole image with a kind of what I call a cleanup pass, and that just removes any dust, dirt, hairs, microscopic things from the photo. The last thing you want in your nice product shot is dirt and dust. So it's good to basically plug in your headphones, listen to a podcast and just go to town on removing that dust. I used the spot removal tool to get that dust away. So I did it on the drive itself and some of the stuff in the background. So that's my cleanup pass. There you can see that's it afterwards, before, after. And then finally on that photo, I wanted to make the logo really stand out. So I just brightened it up a little bit using the dodge tool. It gives it that punch. It makes it a little bit more contrasty. Also went over this highlight at the top here, give it a little bit more dynamic to it as well. So that was it for the first image. But what I wanted to do was add a second hard drive in the back. I thought it might look quite cool. So what I did was I took a photo of the back of the hard drive here. You can see it's identical apart from, or this logo down the side here. So I tried so hard to get it in the exact same position, but I couldn't. So I figured a way around this, and because it is essentially the same shape, the same size, front and back, I cloned the front twice. I'll show you here. So I made a new composition, I pasted that in here. I then cloned that hard drive into the back and removed the logo. And so far, so good. So what I did was I took the logo from the back of the hard drive that I took in that photo here and basically painted that in over the top of the hard drive here, which gave me that. And I think that little trick worked a treat. It really sets off that photo, and then I just added a few more adjustment layers on top of it. Now the hard drive does have a little light on the top, which I think would have been pretty cool to put in, so I did. I added a little blue light. And yeah, that was the final image I got. I think it worked really well, and it just kind of gave me a behind the scenes of all the steps I went through to get there. I also did one on the white background. So this was the base image I got out of the camera on the white background. You can see it's already looking pretty good, but the same steps as before. I went through it. I went background cleanup. I cleaned up the hard drive itself. I also straightened it out a little bit. Went in with the dodge brush, brought out the logo a little bit, and then a couple of adjustment layers as well, just to kind of finish that image off. So yeah, so that is the final image on the white, and that's the one in the black. Now to the phone. Now the phone one was quite interesting because obviously you're not getting the same quality out of a phone as you do a big camera, but it actually turned out really well. Check this out. So this was the original phone image. You can see it's a little bit distorted, but the colors are nice, you're getting those gradients. So what I did was I tried to fix the distortion a little bit so it looks a little bit more natural. Again, same steps, clean up pass. So I cleaned up that hard drive a little bit, cleaned up the background as well. You can tell it's a little bit smudgy. Once again, used the dodge brush to kind of bring that logo out a little bit. And I also basically darkened down the whole background. And then again, a couple of adjustment layers. So that's my final phone one, which I think is pretty good as well, compared it to where is it? This one. So that's the phone one, and that's my camera one. So yeah, that's it. One light, one camera, and Photoshop. So yeah, thanks again guys for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully it kind of encourages you to try something new yourself. Maybe you want to try some photography? I don't know. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Actually, I'll be giving away one of these hard drives over my Instagram soon, so please head over there at Craig_Stellar or Stellar_digital. Please hit that like button, leave me a comment down below, hit that subscribe button if you haven't done already. Definitely interesting times we're living in right now, but please stay safe, have fun, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. I'm gonna have a lie down.